Good morning, students. Today we will start new chapter of geography, major domains of the earth. Children, as you already know that the earth is the only planet where life exists. Why? Because of the presence of land, water and air make it possible for all living things to exist on the earth. So, so our Earth's surface is a complex zone where all these three main components of the environment meet, overlap, and interact each other. So, the four major domains of the Earth are lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Lithosphere means stone or land. It is a solid portion of the earth. Hydrosphere means water. It means that it is a big area of the earth which covered with water, and more than 71% of the earth is covered with water. Atmosphere. Atmos means vapor. It means that the air or the gaseous layer that surrounds the earth. Biosphere. Bio means life. It means that the narrow zone where we find air, land, water together is called biosphere, which contains all forms of life. So let's learn about these one by one. Now the first is lithosphere. The term lithosphere is made of or derived from Greek word lithos, which means stone. Lithosphere is a solid portion of the earth on which we live. It is made up of the rocks of the earth crust and the thin layers of the soil. These layers of the soil contain nutrients which are required for the sustenance of the organism. Children, as you already know that the earth's surface has two parts or divisions. One is continents and second is ocean basins. I have indicated them on the map through the arrows so you can see them on the map. Continents are the large land masses on the earth's surface, while ocean basins are the huge water bodies. All the oceans of the world join one another, while land masses are not connected with one another. Now come to ocean basins. All the oceans in the world are connected with one another. The level of sea water remains the same everywhere. Sea level is taken as zero. Elevation of land, how high a land is measured from sea level, which we take as zero. The greatest depth is 11,022 meters is recorded at the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Now come to continents. There are 7 major continents. First is Asia, second is Europe, third is Africa, fourth is North America, fifth is South America, sixth is Australia, and seventh is Antarctica. All these continents are separated by large water bodies. The greater part of the landmass lies in the northern hemisphere. Children, as I have already told you, that the height of the place or land is measured from the level of the sea water, because the sea water remains the same everywhere. For example, we say that Mount Everest is highest peak in the world, and its height is 8,848 meters. So children, this height is measured from the sea level. The deepest point on the surface of the earth is the Challenger Deep at the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. The depth of the deepest point is 11,022 meters. So what does it mean? It means that its depth is much more than the highest point of the earth. So children, as I said earlier, that large land masses are called continents and they are separated by large water bodies like oceans and seas. These continents are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, and Australia. Now look again at the map. Children, did you notice that most of the land masses lie in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere has relatively fewer land masses? Now let's learn about Asia, which is the largest continent. It is so large that it covers about one third of the total land area of the earth. Look at the map in front of you. You will notice that Asia continent lies entirely or completely in the eastern hemisphere. That means east of the Greenwich meridian. In the map, eastern hemisphere is shown in white color. The Tropic of Cancer, which is an important latitude, passes through this continent. Asia and Europe continents are joined together and make a very large continuous landmass together, and they are called as Eurasia. The two continents are separated by the Ural Mountains on the west. Asia is the world's most populous continent with more than 60% of the world's population. Now come to Europe. In comparison to Asia, Europe is a smaller continent. It lies to the west of the Asia, as I mentioned earlier that Ural Mountains separates Asia and Europe. These mountains form the easternmost edge of the Europe. The Arctic Circle, which is the important parallel of latitude, passes through the continent, that is Europe. Europe is surrounded by water bodies on three sides. They are the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and the North Sea. The Greenwich meridian, which is the 0-degree latitude, passes through this continent. Now come to Africa. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia. It is bounded on all sides by oceans and seas. Africa is the only continent through which the Tropic of Cancer, the Equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn pass. A large part of Africa lies in the northern hemisphere. The Sahara Desert, the world's largest hot desert, is located in Africa. Children, you will notice that the world's longest river, the Nile, flows through Africa. Now come to North America. North America is the third largest continent of the world. It lies in the northern and the western hemisphere. It is surrounded by three oceans: the Arctic Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean. North America is linked to South America by a narrow strip of land which is known as Isthmus of Panama. So, isthmus is a narrow strip of land joining two land masses. Now, come to South America. South America lies mostly in the southern hemisphere. Atlantic and Pacific Oceans surround it on the east and west, respectively. The Andes, world's largest, world's longest mountain range, runs through its length from north to south. South America has the world's largest river, which is known as the Amazon. So, children, longest river is Nile, which is in Africa, and the largest river is Amazon, which is in South America. Now come to Antarctica. Antarctica completely lies in the southern hemisphere. It is a huge continent. The South Pole lies almost at the center of this continent because it is located in the South Polar region. Therefore, it is permanently covered with thick ice sheets. There are no permanent human settlements in Antarctica. Many countries have research stations in Antarctica. India also has research stations there. These are named as Maitri and Dakshin Gangotri. Now come to the seventh continent, which is known as Australia. It is the smallest continent that lies entirely in the southern hemisphere. It is surrounded on all sides by oceans and seas. The Tropic of Capricorn passes through the middle of this continent. Now, children, come to the difference between strait and isthmus. Strait is a narrow passage of water which connects two large water bodies like seas or oceans. Example, the Palk Strait separates India from Sri Lanka. Now come to isthmus. Isthmus is a narrow strip of land which is joined by two land masses. The Isthmus of Panama joins North America and South America. Now, children, do you know who were the first men to climb Mount Everest? Yes, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa were the first men to climb the highest mountain peak, Mount Everest, on the planet Earth on 29th May 1953. Now, Junko Tabei, who is from Japan, was the first woman to reach the summit on 16th May 1975, and the first Indian woman, who is known as the Bachendri Pal, to climb the highest peak on 23rd May 1984. Okay students, rest of the topic we will cover in our next video. Thank you.